When can we get Boss Lady out of the attic? It's usually halfway through the week. So here she is. Your host of Halfway Through the Week, Deb LaMotta.
Yep, man, here I am, Deb LaMotta, and it is halfway through the week. Tonight's show is brought to you by, well, me, and my interview with Erica and Steve of Seems Like Tuesday Band, Wednesday Rally Artist Band, Dashing Skull Club, and of course, great music from all these indie artists and more. And usually at this point, I tell you to make sure you have your headphones on, grab a drink, and I'll be back after the music. But tonight, I want to share with you Cul-de-sac King's upcoming new single releasing June 1st. And so for the first time right here on, and where am I? Halfway through the week, Mean Old Woman, and I will be back.
Shirt and tie. That mean old woman, oh, she can make a grown man cry. Lost all my money down at the liquor store. That mean old woman, she don't love me no more. When you come from the bottom, you gotta get back on top. Back on top. When you come from the bottom, you gotta get back on top. Yeah. Back on top.
Hey, this is Dana with Dana Begay Music, and you're listening to Halfway Through the Week with Deb LaMotta.
Oh my God, Mean Old Woman, Cul-de-sac Kings. What do you think? You can text me tonight at 302-272-5389, or you can email me at info@r2rb.com. Oh man, that's going to be a hit, Mean Old Woman, and I'm going to have to play that again at the end of the show. Let me know. 302-272-5389. Great one, guys. Really like that one. I've listened to it before tonight, so I've had it on instant replay. All right. Okay, up next. Well, welcome back. I have a lot of good stuff to share with you tonight, and it's not me talking. So let's get on with it. My R2RB Indie Artist Podcast Series guest is Seems Like Tuesday, Eric and Steve. And this was one of those conversations that went like, hanging out with friends and having a cup of coffee or whatever you like to drink. I really enjoyed it. You'll hear their latest single, Drowning, halfway through, and at the end, their single, Annie and Freddie. And I think that's vice versa. I think I put Annie and Freddie in the middle here. Both great songs. And you'll hear all about both of these songs in the interview. Let me tell you, this conversation went from allergies to music to business of music, artwork, vampires. And without further ado, my conversation with Seems Like Tuesday. Hi, and welcome to the R2RB Indie Artist Podcast Series. And today I have with me Seems Like Tuesday band members Erica and Steve. And you can find them anywhere from Delaware, Philly, and New Jersey. Thank you for joining me today. How are you both?
We are good.
We're doing well.
As we were just discussing, we're exhausted.
Yeah. My allergies are killing me and I'm overworked.
Oh my God, these allergies have been horrible.
It's bad. We actually just played a gig recently outside. We had, what was it? The Makers Market in Chatsworth, New Jersey. Literally, it turned out to be a great day, right? It was supposed to rain. He would hit his snare and you would see the dust.
Awful.
Green and yellow. It was all over.
It was all over my gear when I came home. There was stuff like, because I was sweating, obviously. There was like green stuff like on the hairs of my arm. I looked like the Incredible Hulk when I came home.
It's terrible.
It was really bad where we were. We were getting killed. But we had a great show. But
it was a good show.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, quick story about my allergies, because I was away up in Connecticut for 2 weeks. And before I left, I wasn't feeling so great, but I muddled through and got through because I was seeing my grandkids and everything. When I got back home 2 weeks later, it's like, I'm just going to stop in the walk-in because like I'm out of breath and I'm just not feeling it. And I never really got sick. Well, I walked across their parking lot into their waiting room, and it's like I couldn't breathe. Oh yeah, it's your allergies. So we're going to give you an inhaler and medicine and allergy medicine.
Yeah.
It's terrible this year. I've never had it this bad.
It's so funny because we just had a radio interview too, and we talked about the same thing. He's like, I can't even breathe. I'm struggling. Like that's how we started the conversation.
Yeah, he sounded like he was like gargling with like rocks.
Yeah,
his voice was shot.
It's true. I sympathize with you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. All right. So Seems Like Tuesday is the name of the band. What's the story behind the name?
That's all you.
That's me. I usually answer this one, so I'm well versed in this answer. We practice on Tuesday nights, and it seemed like when everything that we were trying to do, book a studio session, photography, a photo session, anything like that was always wound up being on Tuesday. So when we were looking for a band, I'm like, we wanted something that obviously wasn't taken. We wanted something that we could kind of abbreviate, so it could be like SLT, and we could make it like big on like a marquee. And we didn't want anything to put us in one category as like, that's our genre of music.
There you go.
So we could kind of do anything with that name. And nobody had it, which was really important.
Right.
If you go on YouTube or you go on Google and you hit us, we come right up.
Yeah.
So I think it was more derived from not being typecast by a certain name that would make you be like a heavier band or a country band or something. I just wanted to be able to do whatever we wanted to do. And again, nobody had it. And it was kind of unanimous. I just said it one day. I was like, how about Seems Like Tuesday? And they were like, all right. And we just kind of went with it. And then, once we got the logo back from our artist, we were like, oh yeah, it's sold now.
Cool.
It looked cool.
Yeah. You've been nominated for awards. You have a new one. You've been nominated recently.
Yeah, so we actually won the World Songwriting Award for Wasted Summer. God, when was Wasted Summer released? We released so much that
Towards the ending of last summer.
last summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Probably like August or September.
Yeah.
Wow, almost a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
Cool. Yeah. So Seems Like Tuesday has been together since 2022. Erica, you do the vocals and percussion. Steve, you are the drummer. So who else is in the band, and how did you all meet?
Yeah. So we have Chip Michael on bass. We have Pete McGregor on guitar. We have Billy Zioli on vocals and guitar. We all sing. Chip, Pete, myself, Steve, Billy. He does a mean foxy lady.
Oh, cool. There you go.
Don't be fooled. The cool thing is that Steve, Chip, well, Pete and Billy, they've all kind of played on the same scene
Okay.
way back when, in the original scene. So same circuit, same clubs. We just came together that way. He made a couple calls and
Yeah, we were looking for people. I think, we decided we were in a cover band at the time, and we decided, look, the schedule is just getting too much for us. And, it's kind of, you lose your soul playing a lot of covers. Sometimes you just play the same songs, and whatever the flavor of the week is, you got to learn that and play that. So after a while, we were in it for a long time, about what, 10 years or so, right?
I was in it for 18.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
since she was a teenager. So we just decided to do something original. And the first thing I did was, I said, all right, I got to get quality people. That was the first thing.
Absolutely.
Right off the bat. I didn't want no drama. I didn't want no drugs. I didn't want no, we call it LSD, which is lead singer disease. The pompous kind of, we didn't want none of that kind of stuff. So we wanted to get good quality people first. And then geographically, is it going to work? Are we going to be able to have practice on the same nights? And are you going to be able to get to my house on a Tuesday, for instance, or stuff like that? So I think we really found a good quality group of people, and then we all bought into the system. That's another thing, is everybody want to play music. Can people write originals? Can they get along? You have two guitar players. Who's going to play the solo? Is the other guy going to get mad? We have a bunch of people who sing. Is she going to let the other guy sing a song without getting all that? And pretty much all them problems were never a problem.
Wow.
So it was great. Like nobody
actually, that's amazing.
Yeah, nobody ever has a problem with anybody else taking the limelight, it's just great.
Well, I think too, because not to cut you off, but we've all been at this a long time. And by the way, when I said 18 years in the cover band, you're like, yeah, she was a teenager. Thank you for making me younger than I am. I appreciate it. I was loving that. Just had to mention that. We're all seasoned, right? And we've all have been doing this for so long that it's actually enjoyable. It's fun. And another thing, I make the Divas playlist a lot. I am by no means a diva at all. I am literally like one of the guys.
One of the guys.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I would say, well, she's my wife, my best friend, and all that stuff. But honestly, you probably are the easiest person, lead singer wise, I've ever dealt with. There's no.
Yeah, and you talk about being seasoned, but I know there's bands out there that they're seasoned and they still have drama. So whatever, right? So whatever you have done to really take the time to find the right people and the right fit, and that it all balances for you, is extraordinary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, everybody wants the best quality of the song, and everybody wants everybody to be happy. There's a give and take. I mean, we don't all agree on anything, but we have majority rules. Somebody really, like, I'll send something out, for instance, and I'll be like, all right, we're going to use this as the flyer. If anybody hates this picture, let me know. If it's something you can deal with, roll with it, because I don't feel like doing it again.
Right.
So if somebody calls up and says, yo, I look terrible in that, I don't want to use it, and they're still outvoted 4-1, I won't do that. But you got to be really passionate about hating it, too. Right. We really try to just work as friends first, and then, and this is the music business. There's a business angle to it, too.
Sure, of course.
You all got to agree on. There's money to be divided and all that kind of stuff too. So
that just comes through with your music and, what you have out there. I mean, you can see that you do balance each other. You can see that you're all passionate about it. I mean, your videos, which we'll talk about in a minute, are just absolutely amazing. So again, and it's a business, but it's also that passion. It's who you are and what drives all of you. And if all of you can be driven in the same direction without having drama, that's the best way to go. And again, you can see it in your finished product.
Well, thank you. I mean, we were, very hard at what we do. So
yeah, absolutely.
Comes across that way, and we look genuine is because we are. So that's great.
That's it. Exactly. So let's get talking about songs and videos and your newest release, Drowning. So in a single, you also have a music video. Let me tell you. I was like, I watched it all. I was like, let's play that again.
Yeah, that is actually, I mean, I love them all, right? We put, again, like Steve said, we put so much into it. Schedules, who's available, the whole day on a Saturday. Yeah. There's a lot that goes in, but the song itself has like that spooky element, right? By the way, we actually did not write that. We actually had somebody bring that to us, one of our fellow musicians, on the original scene. And obviously we made it our own and what it is, but he had this vision the entire time. We have to make it eerie and, maybe vampires or because it just matched the song. And then the place that we went to was actually a friend of our photographer and videographer. And that looked very spooky too.
It did.
So it kind of and it was a dreary day. We thought it was going to rain. I'm like, this is friggin' perfect. I mean, besides the vampires coming out during the day, it all matched up.
All the elements were there, and I was so taken and fascinated in the beginning watching, walking into I don't know where the heck you're all walking into. It was like, oh, and then the scene unfolds, and at that end, so go ahead, tell the rest.
Yeah, and then people are my kids. It was funny. They're like, "Why are you wearing a cape? You look like Little Red Riding Hood." I'm like, "Did you watch the whole thing? Because you won't get it unless you watch the whole thing."
That was one of the major things going in. The guy that did it was this guy named Steve Parks. He does our photography and stuff. So we got him into doing the videos with us. And I called him on the phone. I says, look, a lot of attention spans are gone within you're lucky to hold somebody a minute. You're lucky. Even visually, you're lucky. So I says, we got to make it that people don't know what's going on here. Got to have the suspense at the end. And that was all calculated on what's going on here and what's happening. And then it all kind of unfolds at the end, what's going on. It's a fine line when you do something like horror like that, because it could be really corny, really quick. And I was adamant about not making it to where it could be like a spoof. It would be serious. Yeah. A lot of our songs are happy or upbeat or pop. And this is the one that's going to be set up on our EP that we're about to release, probably mid. We have 8 songs. It'll be 4th or 5th. And it really just takes the EP left.
Different level.
So you could come back. It's another corridor to walk down, and that's what we did with the video too. We wanted it to be really different than everything else we put out. And we wanted to keep your attention span guessing until the very end. And then, like you said, you usually 9 times out of 10 people are like, I watched it twice. So that's great in itself because you're going to rewind it and you're going to see things you didn't see. And then now that you know the story, you're going to look at the clues and all that. So it's very, what's that, Alfred Hitchcock where you'll start figuring things out. But we literally wrote that whole thing out, what we were going to do. Girl enters the room and that on the second line of the 3rd verse or whatever. So it was all very calculated and we shot that all in about 2.5 hours.
A little closer to 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, time flies. But, it was in one day. And then we edited it and we put it out. So we were lucky enough that the guy let us use his house. Hugh, if you're watching, thank you. and it all came together.
So cool. I mean, again, like I said, I watched the video and I'm like, oh, okay. And okay. And and then at the end, it's like, oh, yeah. And then you got to go back and then watch it again because then it's a whole different scene.
Yes. Agreed.
And somewhere in there, hopefully the song's catching you to where you're you start bobbing and weaving to it. So it's all an experience, which we tried to take the viewer and the listener through in less than 3.5 minutes there.
Yeah.
So the house that you were in, Hugh's house that you were in, has he ever had paranormal activity in his house?
No,
No?
he's
Okay.
actually a brilliant artist.
Oh,
He
wow.
actually is one of the few people we know that actually makes a living doing
Do
something.
the art.
He does like old murals and all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
And he's a collector. So like I'll tell you a funny story. We're bringing in people now. Really, the only guy that knows him is our photographer. I go up, I introduce myself. I'm like, thanks for letting us use your place. We'll be respectful. Ain't gonna be nobody doing anything stupid in here, whatever. He's like, just be real careful of everything. So I start looking at like a piece of, I don't know what, like what would you call that? Like a vase or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, well, everything in here is just really expensive. Just be careful. I'm like, dude, we're cool. We break anything, we'll buy it. He's like, I don't know if you can buy that. And I'm like, how much is that? He's like, well, that's a $5,000 vase that was King Tut the Third nephews or whatever. Crazy stuff like that. Like a ceramic banana from like, the 1800s that
That's cool.
Elizabeth had. And so it was like this really crazy collective kind of, stuff everywhere, but it was clean. It was crazy. It was like there was stuff everywhere. Deb, I put my phone down like 3 times. I lost it all 3 times. I don't know where I was in the house. And there was always like crazy, just different rooms and Halloween in one room. And then like, felt like you were like in
Yeah, like one of the rooms we were in had dolls in it. And so to answer your original question, there probably is some type of activity.
We just didn't know. We didn't ask, and we don't
ask.
So I just looked and turned my head because I am very like with dolls. I don't know.
Dolls can be a little out there.
So, but it was cool though. Like he said, very clean and
yeah, and the guy's super cool to let us
Yeah.
all use that.
Yeah,
Like
that
he's
is.
a friend. I send him texts and we talk, and
yeah.
Yeah.
so he was really cool about everything. And plus, we respected his home. Nobody brung dirt in the house on their feet or
Yeah.
broke anything or clogged the toilet or anything like that. All these things matter.
It
when you're
does,
broken into the
absolutely.
house.
We laugh, but it's true. You
It
speak,
is.
you
It
speak the
is.
truth. I couldn't wait to find out about the video and the song itself. A great project. You guys are relatively new, as I said earlier. Are you happy with where you are now with the band? I think tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys just really seem to, again, I'll repeat, interact well. You perform together. Your creativity comes out in your projects. And are you where you thought you would want it to be at this time?
I could speak for myself. I am very happy with what we've done so far. I'm happy that just gigs alone from where we started as an original band 3 years ago to where we are now, like playing casinos and really popular festivals that draw thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I would say where I would want to go next would be to get one of our singles in a series or a movie, something along.
Oh, yeah. Do you agree, Steve?
Yeah, well, I've been up and down in this business. I had a record deal when I was like 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
And then I came right out of high school, and then I was like, I'm going to be rich and famous. And we were doing the hair metal thing, and then that went out of style, and all the bands got dropped. And I
Yeah.
kind of fought back and forth and had a couple spec deals, and it looked like we were going to go somewhere, and then that fell apart. So it's, I've been through the gamut of getting, beat up pretty good in the business. Yeah, when we went into this, it wasn't like, we're gonna be rock stars, and in the video we're gonna have a cannon, shootout, fire, and it wasn't like that. We were like, look, let's just get together, be creative as possible, let's put out the best music we can. If something advances, then great. I don't think anybody wants to tough it out in a van and tour and and
hard work.
do something like that. We much rather, as she said, get our song into like a commercial or, that's wishful thinking, but that's more where this band is geared towards. To just drop everything and run for a little bit, it'd be really hard to do. We all have this band. Everybody in this band has a career job.
Right.
Nobody's working at like Target. Everybody's like a boss or our bass player is a building inspector. Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's like has like real jobs.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
you need 401k, you need medical insurance, and you got to be realistic at this stage of life.
Absolutely.
If something breaks and it looks like it's worth doing, then we'll do it. But I think we're just into putting out quality stuff, playing the right gigs, staying afloat, not going too far in the red as far as cash, and making great contacts like people like you, and just making new friends, and just try to throw it up against the wall. And if it sticks, then great. If it doesn't, then we left some sort of legacy behind.
Absolutely. And so speaking of, music is full time, and you do both have full time jobs as well as the other band members. How do you balance? Because I know Erica, she's traveling, you're full time with what you do, and then you have a family to take care of. How do you balance that? Do you really mark time on the calendar to take time for yourselves?
When we can. Our time to ourselves is really like driving to a gig, going to pick up a kid. And I can't really say that though, because we're going away next weekend, right? Like just the two of us.
You sound like a liar.
For 2 nights.
Whoa.
But it is difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I'm probably away myself like every other week. So it's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. But the plus is, like he was talking about the cover band. It's not where this is super demanding, where we have to be here at 5 o'clock for a cocktail hour for a wedding. We were playing 8 times a month with the cover band. So this, we are able to really choose.
A little more flexibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we want to play twice a month, great. And that's set in stone, and it is what it is. We won't take anything else. If we want to play 3 to 4 times a month and something great comes our way, we're going to take it.
Awesome.
But I think it's a little
I think also too, when you're in a relationship with somebody with I'm lucky enough to have my wife as the singer of the band. It's something we do together.
Right. Yeah.
When you're in a relationship with somebody and you're in the band and they're not, there's a little bit of a level of resentment.
I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me get this straight. You go on at midnight. You didn't come home until 4 o'clock in the morning. What were you doing? Who were you with? Where did you go? Why are you hanging out with him? He's trouble. Whatever. Right?
Yeah.
This way, she knows what I'm doing. I know what she's doing. None of that's a problem. We kind of go and we come together, and she knows who I know, and I know who she knows, and we give each other flexibility, but there's a level of respect because, your partner's right behind you. So
right.
She's the singer of the band. People are always going to flirt with her.
Right.
So, I let her do her thing until it gets out of control. And then I'll go over and introduce myself and be like, all right, dude, you keep it moving now, so it's something we do together. And I think that's a lot, more healthier than when you're with somebody who isn't your place. As I said, the resentment builds up. It's natural.
Absolutely. And you're also thinking about time together, taking care of, self-care, which is very important. So you do think about that, because a lot of people don't, and it's important.
What else?
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes I got to cut you off, Deb. Sometimes. All right. Are we done now with the band stuff? Because I got to tell you about what happened with the washer this morning. The spin cycle stopped working. Tori's clothes were in there, and then you go down and you go right back into life again. You know what I mean?
It's true. You got to separate sometimes.
You do. It's important.
But you seem to have a good balance, even with to the two of you and then the whole band. So kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's take a music break, listen to some songs from my featured artist, and then we'll be back to the interview. Annie and Freddie, which came out in February. Do you all do songwriting? Do you all collaborate?
Yeah, I would say the majority of the songs that come in are from Billy and Pete.
Okay.
You know, they'll either bring us a full song and we'll arrange it our way and do our thing and put a twist on it. A song maybe they wrote years ago that we're going to incorporate and do the same thing, turn it upside down and kind of figure out what we could do different. Or they'll start something from the beginning and maybe I'll finish writing it, or it's a little bit of everyone.
Nobody comes in with a complete song is like, I want this drum beat and I want you to hit this cymbal there. It's not like that at all. Somebody will come in with basic,
ideas,
skeleton of a song, and then we'll all put our thing to it. But nobody's Gestapo telling everybody exactly what to play. Billy brings in a ton of ideas. He's a machine as a songwriter. Pete's a really good writer too. And as you said, with Drowning, that was our friend. He called me up on a Sunday morning and he's like, dude, I got this song and I hear Erica singing it. He sends it to me through Messenger on Facebook. It's him with an acoustic stripped down. Took it to band practice. We arranged it, did all these kind of things to it. And then, obviously, you record it, you mix it, you master it. We did a video, and I sent it to him. He's like, wow, dude, like, you did all that to what I gave you. I'm like, yeah. I think our biggest problem is we don't have enough time to write, because if we did, we'd have, like, double records worth of stuff.
Right.
We're going to have to play. We have a problem like, okay, we're going to need 350s as far as sets, and we're going to have to incorporate some covers because we're playing a casino, and they don't know your song. So then we started learning a lot more covers just to fill up a night.
Right, to balance it out.
Yeah, I think if we could just be an original band and we were just focused on that and we had a little bit more time to ourselves, we can really pump out a lot of material. But the way the business is and if you want to play and you want to make money, you want to play places with stages and lights and stuff like that, and they feed you, you're going to need to play some covers. So we didn't want to do that, but that's what we're doing because that's the name of the game and that's all it's all you can do around here. Where we're from, you have to do that. So, but yeah, as far as answering your question, I think songs come from anywhere we can pull them out. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no one way of doing things. Whatever works. We just try to bring everything in and we just like to put our SLT signature on it. And as long as it kind of blends into what we're doing, great. If a guy comes in with a thrash song, we're not going to play that, but everybody knows better. That's the other thing. I think the band is kind of all along that same path, bands we like and bands we listen to. And so we're lucky in that avenue too. We don't got one guy that's coming in, he's like, it's got to be heavier. We never say that. We're like, what's best? Eric will sound better if we jump that key. Let's jump the key. Whatever.
And so Annie and Freddie, is that how that came about? Was it a collaboration or?
Pete came in with that pretty much with everything. And then we just SLT'd it. I think we wrote the ending or how the beginning was going to come in. And, you might want to shorten the verse there or something like that. But the major bare bones of that tune definitely came in from him.
And what's their story?
Oh, that's your
they're the power couple. They're like us.
Yeah.
Pretty much they could handle anything. They're, proud of who they are as a couple, and that's pretty much what that's
but
about.
More or less like a couple against the world. When you're with somebody, you know how you go through every kind of problem there is. You go through births, deaths, dying, whatever. You start to go through everything.
Yeah.
And they're just fighting against every obstacle that the world's throwing against them, and they're coming out and they're still together and they're still strong, and not they ain't getting kicked around, but they're fighting back and they're a true team. That's pretty much what that song's about.
So you have your song and you've got that all together, and then you want to do the video. So again, it's a collaboration of what you want to do, how you want to do it.
Well, I think with that one, we knew that Drowning was going to be next.
Oh, okay.
So we knew we were going to have a concept to that one. So with Annie and Freddie, we basically said, why don't we just go into the studio and we'll just record us making the song. We basically went into the studio, and what you're seeing on the video is us actually recording the song.
Yeah.
So it's just bare bones. When she's singing, that's her really singing. And we just went to where we do our records at, this Wombat Studio org, to give Dave a plug there. Yeah. And we just said, look, man, we're going to bring a photographer down here, a video guy too, and we're just going to do stuff. And he's like, all right, cool, dude, whatever. Mi casa, su casa, and we went and did it in his house. Again, we didn't clog the toilet. We didn't do anything stupid. And he was cool with the whole idea. So that's why you keep getting invited back.
That's right.
That's right. It's all about the toilet. But that was the idea behind that one, just to go right in and just belt something out right away, because we knew the next one was going to be, the concept, and it was going to be the story, and we were going to have other people. We had, the two other girls with Erica. So we knew that was going to be a little bit more of a labor, where that one was just like, all right, let's go down on Tuesday night. We'll play the song, we record it, bang, we'll put it out, and we'll move to the next. So there wasn't really much thought process behind that. It's just to get everybody on the screen, just follow the tune. I mean, that was the big thing.
That was cool. No, that was a good video as well. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and you know what? You did very well. You were successful, because people would reach out to me and be like, "What's up with the video? Like, you guys didn't do anything else?" And I'm like, "There's a reason why."
Right, we're setting up.
Right, exactly. So it worked.
It did. Absolutely. Yeah, you guys work really well.
Yeah, guess what? I'm going to give you
there you go.
a plug.
Let me get my ego hat on.
He is very creative. He comes up with a lot of the concepts and the ideas. He does all of our social media. I just don't even know how he does it. Well, I mean, I do know, because I used to do it and you took it off me.
It's a lot.
Yeah, he does all of that. So sometimes he's up till like 2 a.m. thinking, when the wheels are spinning, right? Like, so it's a good thing though, because he's very dedicated and committed.
Yeah, I try not to spell any words wrong or cut people's head off in pictures, and all the little details that mean something,
I mean, we're laughing, but it does. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you ever see, like, if I'm on your interview, right? I'm actually hunched over in this chair, so you see my head. What if the whole video is like this? And I'm like, that's great. Well, I'll be there. It wouldn't be cool, right?
Yeah,
that for the whole rest of the video. There you go.
How long have you two been together?
Oh God, it's been a while.
Long time.
Good.
Yeah. We ain't married though.
No, it'll be 3 years. Yeah.
It's working. Whatever you guys are doing, it's working.
Well, I can still make her smile. That's half of the battle, right?
Right. Absolutely. Is there a message you want your listeners to take away from your music?
We're trying very hard. I mean, we're trying to execute our craft. We're trying to tell a story. We're trying to keep it fresh. I think the major thing of being in this business and doing record showcases and all that kind of stuff, it all comes down to the song. That's number one important thing, and that's the way we approach everything. So I think the more you listen to our material, the more you'll start hearing, wow, that's only coming out of the left speaker there. Or that was coming out of the left speaker on the first verse, and now it's coming out of the right speaker on the second verse. All that is telegraphed. Nothing's by accident. It's all thought out. It's very almost like how Rush would approach something. Like the guys are dialed into it's crazy. We ain't that crazy or musicianship but the thought process is as crazy as them. Yeah. So everything's done for a reason, and I think we would want people to know that we really care about what we're putting out. We ain't just putting out any old slop. We're really spending the money on studio time, rehearsing, having band meetings about the simplest little things. We're really trying to put out a quality product.
Yeah. And again, in the end, when we're watching your videos or listening to your singles, you can hear it, you can see it. It's all there. Somebody's taken the time from the beginning to the end, especially in the videos, because I mean, I love listening to the songs, but sometimes when you have a video to go with that song, and then where you take your videos, that step up that you take those videos to, it's important. And I think that finished product says, so much about Seems Like Tuesday.
Well, thank you. I think one of the biggest compliments I ever got was from Juice. My friend Cress, we call him Juice, but he's like a heavier guy. So he listens to almost death music, Cookie Monster kind of stuff. So he comes up and he goes, listen to me, man. He goes, that ain't my style of music, man. I want you to play in a heavier band and do the double bass and be like, He's like, but I got to admit, you got really good songs and your band's good. He almost reluctantly wanted to admit that he liked it, but he couldn't control because he's got a Slayer patch on the back of his jacket, So that was probably one of the coolest things. As long as we're executing on some level and people are getting something, they like Erica's voice, or they like my drum fill on this part, or they like this, even one song. As long as we're reaching somebody with something, then we feel like that we're accomplishing what we want to accomplish.
Who has been one of your biggest influencers on your music?
Everybody's different on that
one. I was good. Yeah, we all have.
I come from the Journey, Led Zeppelin, Foreigner. That's where I sunk my teeth in as a kid. Music. I know Pete's definitely like a Sammy Hagar guy, Peter Frampton. Billy played in a lot of like heavy metal bands. Not, I wouldn't say heavy metal, like, because that's like Judas Priest, but more of like a heavier,
Okay.
the hair sort of.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of bands when he was on the scene. His songwriting is so eclectic. I mean, you hear a little country in his stuff. And so he's, I think, influenced by a lot more than even I know. And then Erica, I mean, comes from a whole complete different background.
Completely different.
Yeah. Well, tell your story.
So I'm like the Connie Francis era. Yeah, I grew up, my nan, my grandma, my dad's mom was a performer, and Patsy Cline, Etta James, Connie Fitz, like that was my first concert
She's an old
as a
soul.
little girl.
Yeah, I love it though.
So that, my dad always says, you grew up in the wrong era. And then after that, I got into like the R&B type of stuff, like the Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. Then the 90s was different. That was like No Doubt, you know, maybe a little bit of Britney Spears, but I just loved how she entertained.
Right.
And then as I got older, so really all different types of music, but my dad made sure that I definitely had the opportunity to experience Huey Lewis, Joan Jett, Pat Benatar. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
For sure.
Again, great music, great influences, both sides. And then the two of you collide and blend it all.
Yes.
Well, the covers we do play, we, you know, obviously we have a female singer, so we're going to kind of try to go in that avenue. So we'll do Blondie, Janis Joplin, Joan Jett, all Pat Benatar, the Runaways. Yeah. So anything that could, Melissa Etheridge, anything that could come out and showcase her vocals in styles.
Absolutely.
You do it, you know.
Wow. I like that. So let me ask you a couple of questions about the music industry. Knowing what you know now about the music industry, would you still want a career in that field?
From a business point of view, absolutely not. From who I am, I feel that drumming is not what I do, it's who I am.
Okay.
So it's I'm just following my heart and following what comes natural to me as a human being, and that's what I gravitated to doing. You know, music and sports were always my thing. I actually approached the drums as like a sporting event. You know, like I come out and I want to score the goal. But no, the business is dirty.
It is.
And I've got kicked around, and I know probably some of the reason why we're at the level we are, because I could see bad news coming, and I'm like, I've been there, done that. That dude's shady. He's going to tell you whatever you want to hear, and then he's not going to come through, and then we're going to, you know, or whatever. I know I guess we're in the tri-state area, right? We're East Coast tri-state. I know all the guys that are real and all the guys that aren't real. From the booking agent to the roadie to the light man. So I kind of been there, done that, and it makes me a little apprehensive. Yeah, the business is dirty. I wish it wasn't as cutthroat and you can actually put out material and make a living doing it. But now if you get signed, they're doing the 360 deal. You can't make any money. Like they're going to take you're not selling anymore. Okay, you're not selling records, you're selling streams, and you're making nothing off of the stream. Yeah. So they're going to come after your merchandise. They're going to come after if you have a song in a movie. They're going to come after anything that you're making money to recoup their money.
Right.
That's a huge problem, because at least a band would sell their soul to make it, but then they would be on tour and they would make the touring money and the merchandising money. Now you're not making that either. So it's like you're kind of selling your soul and financially going in the hole for fame. So if you want to be famous, you can be famous. You're just not going to make any money probably. And if you want to make money, then you got to do everything by yourself, because then you ain't going to pay anybody back. So then you need some sort of capital to do it. It's way hard. Yeah. It's very discouraging. And if I wasn't a lifer, I would have probably quit by now. But that's just who I like. My hair long. I like playing drums. These are things that I like doing. So I stuck with it. But I'm not naive by any sense of the imagination. So, you know, I guess it ties in what you said. Are you where you want to be? Technically, no, but I'm okay where I'm at, because I'd rather not get used either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or pimped out, you know, that sort of.
It's a tough industry. And for the, you know, somebody's just starting out, you know, as an indie artist, not knowing anything They really can get knocked down hard, or they lose their self-confidence really quick and just quit, because it's not for the faint-hearted to be an indie artist these days, and you have to be totally in or totally out, I think.
Going to take everything you got to get to the next level, and then once you get to the next level, they're going to use that against you almost. So once you get up to that mountain, you realize that mountain ain't where you want to be anymore. Now you're on. My friend plays with this cover band, and he goes, I'm like, oh, dude, why he's an original band too. I'm like, why are you playing in a cover band? He's like, well, you know what? They're having fun. They're not jaded yet. So he's having a good time. He's jaded, but they're not. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So he's like, I'm just doing it because it's fun right now. But it's hard to keep it rolling. It really is. But again, if you got something worth saying and you got material that you want people to hear, you kind of endure the punishment and keep on moving. I mean, anything you do, you're going to get beat down, right?
Absolutely.
You get 4 brand new tires, you run over a nail that week. You couldn't roll over the nail the week before. You roll over it on a Michelin tire that cost me $350. So
exactly.
That's the way it works,
It is. So what advice would you give an indie artist starting out these days?
Be careful. Research everything everybody tells you, because I think everybody goes, oh, I know, the guys who used to walk the dog for Tommy Mottola and all that. Most of that stuff never pans out. Be cool to everybody on the way up, because you're going to meet them all the way on the way down too. That's the other thing. I think the biggest thing is do it for the right reasons. Do it because you love to do it. Do it because that's the way you express yourself, and if people like it, do it because you're happy. If everybody likes it, then that's cool. Don't sell out and try to follow a trend, because by the time you get to that trend, the trend already changed.
It's done. Yeah. It just happens so quickly.
So I guess it's the same thing like in love. I guess, like, follow your heart, but keep your head on straight too.
Yeah.
Fine line there.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
You agree, Erica?
I do. So we actually have fellow musicians that reach out to us, either folks that are just getting started, folks that may be signing to a label that we're partnered with, really asking, how do you do it? How are you managing your schedule? Who's doing your social media? How are you getting on all these podcasts and all these radio stations? From soup to nuts, they want to know everything, because they see the post every day. You have to be dedicated to that. He will post once a day, because that is what you have to do.
I mean, we have 12 music videos. Not bragging. I'm just saying that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
12 music videos. I mean, it's a matter of, I tell everybody, you gotta work. And I'll quote the Bon Jovi quote that I live by. Yeah. I heard him say one time, he's like, I'm not the best singer in the world. I'm not the best frontman in the world. He's like, but I'll outwork everyone.
There you go.
And that's like kind of, I'm just going to outwork you. I think if that's me losing sleep, if that's me, trying to fit a picture in again, so where nobody's head's cut off and I got to do it 52 times, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get us look as pro as we can. And network, following up. That's key.
That's a big
following up on everything.
Yep.
And it's hard. And I can sit here and say it's easy. It's a hard path to keep going, because you keep getting kicked down. Eventually you're like, whatever, dude. But my whole thing, and I always say this too. This is something I've said in every podcast or interview ever. I want to leave some sort of legacy. So if my great grandkid watches this and goes, wow, that's when Pop had long hair, that's kind of cool. Because I would love to see my great grandfather on one of these and see how he spoke, because I never met him, or whatever, or his aneurysms, or the way he talked with his hands, or whatever. It would have probably been all Italianed out. I'll kill you. I would have got to know him a little bit better. So if it stays on YouTube when I'm dead for another 100 years or whatever, maybe somebody will look at this and go, wow, he knew what he was talking about, or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree on that. Did either one of you have a mentor in the beginning of your music career?
I mean, really, my voice coach, that was Rita Cavell. She had passed away a while ago, but I was with her for a very long time, and she kind of walked me through a lot of, I was on a steady show that was on every Saturday on Channel 6, which is a local channel here. She would help me with that. Our live shows, get me prepped. She would talk to my parents about certain things. And then, like Steve said, I've done showcases for like Atlantic Records and a few other record labels, and a lot of them fell through. So she would really just hold my hand and walk me through that, including my parents. So, I mean, I was young, but I loved her. She was amazing. Amazing.
That's real nice. Steve, what about you?
Well, I was playing clubs at 16. So I was
He was his own mentor.
I was a little kid. Like literally, I would stay upstairs and do my homework, and the guy would let me go downstairs. This was at the Galaxy in Somerdale. It's like a world famous, it's not there no more, but it was like a world famous club. And I would go down and I'd play the drums and I'd go back up and I would do my homework. And the things you see up in dressing rooms, you know, who's doing drugs, who's got girls up there. So I learned real quick on what to do and what not to do.
Okay.
So I'd say my mentoring was being that young kid playing in a club with guys who were 27, 28, 29 years old, and I'm 18 or 19 or whatever. You know, I grew up playing. So you know, so that's I guess who mentored me. I learned what to do and what not to do.
It was on the job learning. On the job learning.
Yes. Yeah. Literally.
I remember one guy would be like, "Wow, what are you doing, little man?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "What's your dad playing tonight?" I'm like, "No, I'm playing." And I went down and I played well enough for him to come up to me and goes, "Man, I can't believe that was you." Because all you could see is like this, you know, over the drums. So he introduced me to everybody as like his like little brother. And that got me in knowing everyone and got me a little bit of clout. Yeah, I was the little kid.
Yeah, you grew up right from the get-go.
Yeah. And then once the guy knew I wasn't going to like party or like drink and stuff, he would let me go down, but I just couldn't go near the bar. So I graduated.
Yeah.
After between 16, 17, by the time I got 18, I was in the club a couple years, and he's like, "All right, you could come down. Don't go nowhere near the bar." I'm like, "All right, I'll stay over near the bathroom." You know, I talk to people coming in and out of the bathroom. You know,
started with the bathroom at an early age.
Yeah. This all ties into the not clogging the toilet.
So this interview is going to air May 28th. What do you got booked after that day? What's going on next for you guys?
Yeah, so we have so many shows. I am so excited. We have a gig at a casino in New York, Ring-Eyed Pete's at Vernon Downs Casino. 27th, we're at the Block at Harris, Philly. That's another casino. Beautiful venue. They just redid the entire venue. State-of-the-art sound system. I love it in there. We're down at the casino some more. Wally Lake Fest in August, which is huge. Oktoberfest. We have a lot of festivals coming up in the fall.
Oh, nice.
So we're just really getting out there.
So kind of New York, New Jersey area?
It's kind of like New York, Jersey,
Philly,
okay. Delaware. Those are our
Delaware.
Within, you know, we'll drive. New York's a little bit away from here. Like one of them gigs is like 4 hours away.
Oh, wow. Upstate New York?
Yeah. So we'll play up there and we'll sleep over. But, you know, that's pretty far. Yeah. So we try not to go too far out than that because, you know, you got to get home and you got to get ready to go to work the next day or whatever.
Are you guys New Jersey, Philly, Jersey?
So we're originally from South Philadelphia.
Okay.
So like basically Rocky Balboa, when he ran down the street, that's where we're from.
Okay.
Yeah. But we moved to Jersey, which is just literally a hop, skip right over the bridge and you're in Jersey. So we're about 15 minutes from where I was born and raised in South Philly.
Oh, cool.
But you could park over here. So that's why everybody moves to Jersey because you can't park in the city. Yeah.
It's
like I actually have a driveway now. It's like great, you know.
It's the little things.
It's the little things you pay so much more in taxes for, you know.
Well, first, thank you so much for being a guest here on R2RB broadcast podcast series. I have enjoyed our conversation. You guys are the best.
That was fun.
Ditto. That was fun.
Well, let everybody know where they can find you. Let's go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube for our music videos. There's also obviously some live performances on there as well. All streaming platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, everything in between.
Do you have a website?
So seemsliketuesday.com.
It is. Okay. All right, cool. And they can find your schedule and everything right there, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deb. We appreciate it.
Hi, this is Orbital Smash, and you're listening to Halfway Through the Week on r2rb.com.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did with Erica and Steve from Seems Like Tuesday. Let me tell you, if you have a chance, please go check them out. Like them, share them, comment them, stream them, and buy their music. Their next song, the next song is Drowning. And if you have a chance, go over to YouTube and find them over there as well, because the video, music video that goes with Drowning, and even Annie and Freddie, you gotta go watch it. All right, in the meantime, while you're listening to another great song, I'm gonna get our it is the Wednesday Rally Indie Artists Dashing Skull Club, and they're gonna be joining me next. So here we go. I'll be back, and I'll be back with the guys.
Drowning, baby, I'm drowning, drowning in you, drowning in me. Look what you're doing, baby. Oh, you're doing it too. Guess one of us decided we got nothing to lose. You're
All right, I am back. I'm Deborah LaMotta, and this is Halfway Through the Week. And hopefully you got a chance to listen to my interview with Seems Like Tuesday, Erica and Steve. And now it is time for Wednesday Rally. And the indie artist band this week is Dashing Skull Club. And guys, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves to everybody, and we'll go from there.
I'm Spacey. I play guitar.
Larz Von Crowley. I also play guitar.
And we're waiting for Tuna. Hopefully he can join us, correct?
Yes, I think
Cool. All right. So, all right, let's get started. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do when you're not doing music? You know, kind of a little of a background.
Start us off, Larz.
Okay, well, we are Dashing Skull Club. This is Larz Von Crowley, by the way. Other than music, I do a lot of video editing. Honestly, I don't do much more than music. That's about it.
That's not a bad thing.
Everything is music related. I play a few video games now and then, but yeah, just everything is in the service of music. That's pretty much all I do.
It's definitely your passion.
Yeah.
Most definitely. I'd have to agree with Larz on that one. It's pretty much the same here. Most everything I do is music. If it's not the band, then it's audio engineering.
Well, I like the sound of that because I do editing on, my podcast and everything, and you guys with those big mixers and controllers and all the knobs and everything, like, holy shit. I got a few knobs and it makes me crazy.
It's a lot of fun, really. I enjoy the process, and plus it's like the creative side of it's really fun.
Wow. All right, so, and you guys are out in Kentucky, Tennessee. Which area are you out?
Kentucky.
Yeah, we're in the Kentucky area.
Cool.
Western Kentucky.
So music's always been a part of you then?
Yeah, definitely. I can't think of a time that I haven't been, at least messing around with it. Grew up with one of those little air organs, and I banged on pots and pans. I was in band in school, and just eventually, guitar just started to take over, and I just started going into that, and just guitar and songwriting in general. Right?
Wow.
I'm a musician. I call myself a guitarist, but I really prefer musician, I guess, or
I like
songwriter.
That.
Yeah, guitar is just like the one most comfortable with.
Yeah, it's easiest for me to write with. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hey, I think we got
Tuna Ferrari.
All right. Just in time. Maybe?
I don't know. Well,
Is he there?
that's fine.
I'm here now.
All right. Tuna is in the house.
That's right. That's what that pleasing odor is.
I knew it was something. Well, welcome to the group.
Well, thank you.
You
It's
are
a
welcome.
great pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm so glad you guys would join me tonight. We were just discussing like who you are, where you're from, have you always been doing music?
Gotcha. All that good stuff.
Yeah. What's your story?
Well, I never really was into music, but then when my best bud Larz started playing guitar, kind of opened my eyes to a whole different world.
Really?
And we started the first project way back in the early 90s. Didn't really have plans really to do too much other than just kind of do covers and stuff. But then the chemistry was there, and we started writing some originals and went down to Nashville, recorded an album. Back then we were known as Dangerously Stupid or the Acid Babies. And then let's see, from there we came back from Nashville. We didn't play for a long time.
Wow. Okay.
Got back together in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and have been going strong since.
Wow. So you have been together a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't really have a music background up until you met these guys?
Right. Well, I liked music, but
Yeah.
I didn't really have any interest in
doing it?
I don't know. I took piano lessons for a little bit as a kid. My mom, I guess I got a keyboard for my birthday in like 86, maybe 87. And I messed around with that. But I guess now they call it ADHD, but I was so hyper, I never really could focus on any one thing.
There you go.
So, it really wasn't until I started, let's see, I'm trying to think. I guess I'm not sure exactly what started it, but at some point like I said, right in the early 90s, it was like 91 or something, we just decided, we've been friends forever. You've been playing music in these other bands and stuff.
That's
Why don't
cool.
we give it a shot?
There you go.
And
here you are.
Yes, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, at one point, Tuna, you forgot. I think when we were in middle school, we were really inclined to veer down and thought about,
yeah.
We wrote a bunch of parody songs. I can't remember them all. Yeah, we've Tuna and I have known each other since first grade. So.
Wow, that's great. And you're still together, and you haven't killed each other, so that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, I don't think we've ever really had disagreement.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, because I know a lot of bands, and I think I talked about it with Erica and Steve too, and other bands where most of the time everybody gets along, and sometimes that's not usually always true, right? I mean, I've heard of little things happening, then it blows up, and then that's the end of whatever. So good for you guys.
Well, musician, being an artist, I guess you have to have some small bit of ego because you're creating art that you want people to appreciate.
Right.
And so I think that sometimes, depending on the degree of ego, that's where you start running into issues.
Exactly.
Somebody's jealous that somebody else is getting more attention, or something like that. And it's just like, it's trying to strike that balance. And luckily, we I guess we don't feel we have the right to have an ego.
Oh, there you go. Well, it works.
I would say sometimes things become very precious, and while we do, it's not too precious. I guess that's some of the sense of humor of the band that comes up here.
Yeah, sorry, you were cutting in and out, but I hear you. It's not easy. First of all, it's not easy being an indie artist, and you guys being together as a band for this long. I mean, kudos to you, because there's so many that get frazzled and with each other and then just quit altogether.
Yeah, well, what else can we do?
At this point, I guess nothing. You got music, take it or leave it. That's it. Oh my God.
Right, exactly.
All right.
Tuesday talked about doing it as a business and needing to do this with a passion first and foremost. And I would definitely agree with that.
Well, yeah, and I've talked about that before too. Your passion is the music, which is why you're an indie artist. But if you don't take the other side of it, the business side of it, it can fall apart very quickly. I mean, unless you're just in it just to do the music, which a lot of indie artists are. But you guys being in it for so long, I'm assuming too that you have to look at it from all sides and then put it together so it sticks and you get to where you guys are.
Yeah, every day is a learning process.
Yeah, well, that's the other part of it too. You never stop learning. I mean, I say that for myself as well. I mean, there's always something else to learn about doing whatever you guys do, whatever I do. So, don't think that, and I never think that I know it all, but because sometimes I'll forget things from yesterday. So I got that problem at this age. All right, let's talk about the song you chose for this week's Wednesday Rally. I played it just before you guys came on, Knowing You Did Everything, featuring Whiskey Club, correct?
Yes.
All right, so why that song?
Well, it's our newest one, and I thought it would be the best way, or we thought it would be the best way to get the most exposure.
Yep.
Everything else that we have in our catalog, we're more or less satisfied where it's at as far as plays and stuff go. But this is our new girl, and we wanted to get out there and make a name for itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the great thing for the Wednesday rally, because I know the ones that I've talked to too, Cul-de-sac and Atlas Slip and everything. That's what they did pretty much too. They had their newest song up there, and you're right, it gives you more exposure, and that's what all this social media is about. Is to get you guys as much as you can, including, being a guest here and being a guest there, and it all, helps you out, and that's what I like doing. Is there a story behind, what's the story behind this song?
Well, I'd say it's just kind of our snarky look at the music industry in general, how people can be manipulated by it, how people can manipulate it, how your fans can manipulate you. It's just about the dark side of being a performer, but that's only if you want it to be. You can interpret it however you want to. In fact, there's a bridge in there that kind of goes off topic and does its own thing, which is kind of what I like to do when I write anyway. I kind of want to have something surface level that you can kind of look at and say, oh, yeah, okay, I get it.
Right.
But then you can take the time to really analyze it if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a dark side to the indie industry for sure, and
right,
yeah, we won't go too deep on that.
It's a little bit different than, I mean, we don't really have any specific genre that we play in, but it doesn't, it's kind of different, a little less heavy than a lot of stuff we do, and so wanted to get that out there too and say, hey, here's a little taste of something different if all you know is for our the distortion and stuff.
Right, yeah. And so do you like being the indie artist and not having to put yourselves into a genre?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think we could live in a genre.
No.
It might not even be fun.
Yeah. Well,
I would also add that, the piece of Whiskey Club that added to that song was really made it. And plus it's kind of touched on the community sense, because there is a great community in the thing, and that's definitely the plus side of things now.
Yeah, I mean, there's always two sides to everything. I think I've always said I love being part of the indie community with what I do. I think everybody, for the most part, is supportive. I think most people, most indie artists, reach out to each other, help to support each other. I know sometimes there might be a divide, but I think overall the indie community is very welcoming, and I think that's what I like about it.
Yeah, we've definitely found that.
So who's had the biggest influence on your music?
Well, I'd say all three of us have different majors. I'll go first and just say, I think as far as how I presented myself for a long time, Michael Stipe of REM, and then I think the Pixies and like Talking Heads were my other two big influences.
Cool. Okay. Who's next?
Frank Zappa did Pixies, Iron Maiden, They Might Be Giants, Red Cross, Talking Heads, but I think I just read that.
I like those.
Probably the earliest influence probably that I remember is probably John Williams. Because it was at that right age when Star Wars came out. So that when I started me, I knew I wanted to compose at least, and rock music just kind of came in there. I mean, it was always around. I grew up hearing disco and like AM radio, which knowing you did everything is kind of a tribute to that late 70s kind of AM radio. But the 80s, new wave, metal, Iron Maiden is what made me decide to start playing guitar. Iron Maiden and Van Halen.
Oh, yeah.
But pretty much everything else, Frank Zappa, They Might Be Giants, Ramones, the music was on Looney Tunes.
Yes.
Wow. I'm reminiscing here.
So much. I try to take it all in and spit it back out, and hopefully something that other people will listen to.
It'll stick.
Yeah.
I love that. I love all of them because I am a little bit older, and so I can. I'm thinking, oh yeah, remember, yeah, that one too. Oh yeah, okay, I like it. And then you spin it all together, and we got you guys. I like it.
Yeah.
What is there a message you want your listeners to come away with from your music?
Tuna.
Duck and cover.
Duck and cover.
Perfect.
I like it. You guys are too much.
I mean, I just want them to listen, have a good time. You know, I'm not really. We definitely don't have any political agenda or anything like that. We're pushing. You know, it's just straight up art. If you want to listen, have a good time. That's what's most important to us.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it could at least be like the musical equivalent of popcorn movies.
Yeah. 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 There you go. All right. What do you like most about being an indie artist?
Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just being able to, you know, do what we want to do and just not having to worry about, you know, hitting a deadline. Thank God.
Yeah.
Coach Reed be terrible at that. But, you know, just being able to create the music we want to create, the art we want to create, and, you know, not having to worry about having a hit. But, you know, if we do, that's cool.
So do you guys do everything yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
Well,
it obvious?
No. No. You know, no, because I think your finished product is, you know, professional, and, you know, the sound is awesome. So, you know, sometimes, and, you know, a lot of people don't know what you guys really put into putting together a single or an EP, the time, and the reason why it takes so long. You know, you guys have other responsibilities, and then, you know, to do a release with you know, all the tracks, and then getting everything the way that you want it, and then all the mixing and the mastering, and it is a lot of work. And I don't think a lot of people, and I don't think indie artists get enough kudos on that, because you guys do a phenomenal job.
thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm actually at my job right now.
Taking a break?
So, no, finishing up the night.
Oh, wow. Well, I appreciate you being on here with us.
Well, I wasn't going to miss it. I'll let you know.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, don't get in trouble. Oh, Jesus.
Hey, we're always in trouble here.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you just have to get in trouble and have some fun. Life
That's right.
Life is too short, let me tell you, and then it goes by too quick.
Yes.
All right. So how has the experience been being part of the Wednesday rally?
It's been really fun. It's really cool reading people's comments and their takes on it, and that, you know, like Tuna was saying earlier, the different interpretations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see what people think. You know, it's like, you know, we like it, of course, because we, you know, wrote it. But, you know, it's like, it's always cool to see what, you know, how other people are responding to it.
Yeah, I
If
think
there's like one person that it had some type of impact on, and they, you know, they get something out of it, have fun, and just, you know, that's pretty cool.
it is cool. And I think, you know, it's always great to have feedback, and I think everybody has done a great job with reviews and let's see, Ataraxia music. I've heard all kinds of music, but nothing can compare to the Dashing Skull Club. I find it so foreign to my understanding of music, so bizarre. I don't understand it, but I don't have to. Not everything has to make sense. Absolutely. That's what's so great about Dashing Skull Club. It's a fun song. Sound is
Ataraxia really gets it. I could tell when I read it.
Yeah, right? Not sure what the song is about. Washing machines in a department store. For some reason, that was my visual.
This is beautiful. I love these are the comments that I love. I really like. One of our old mottos was confusing the cool. Confuse the cool. So, you know, I guess that's working.
Well, you know, even on Bandcamp, I mean, so I do my little research, and I like to try to find as much as I can on whoever's going to be talking with me. And hold on, because I'm typing as I'm talking. I gotta find you. You guys probably know it by heart. It's like, oh my god, I like this. One music was made to entertain. Now it's made by mistake. 2 men became 5, and over time some became different men. These men are out to wreck sensibilities and confuse the cool kids with their special blend of destruction, sugar, and chaos. All hail hot dog. Oh my God, I like these guys already.
There you go.
Yeah. You gotta have, one, I think you have to have a sense of humor to stay on top of your game, because if you let everything get to you, right, it's not going to be so much fun. Dear Dashing Skull Club, you know we love you. This is from Beastie Fan Music Club. This song was Mr. Whiskey Club. I like a higher level of Dashing Skulls. Keep on. You have a sound of your own, and it is addictive. Agreed. Oh, look, seems like Tuesday. Listened to this 3 times in a row, and every time we heard something new. Very clever writing, nice piano work.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Beastie Music Fan Club, such cool dudes. Also Stefsky and Hutch.
Oh yeah.
Great people, great music.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so good for you guys. I mean, that's what you want, right? You need a little, this. I've lost my words. When you get old, you have to stop a minute and find the right words to use. Don't get old.
Well, I just wanted to pitch in. We always take the music seriously, but not ourselves.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. You got to have fun with it. You got to enjoy it, because if it's not your passion, you're not enjoying it, then what the hell are you doing?
Couldn't have said it better.
Right?
That's exactly it.
So, you guys working on anything? Are you guys working on anything?
Yeah, we've got some cover collabs, kind of helping celebrate the indie show going on in October, Punk and the Corn.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have a new song that we're currently working on at the moment.
Okay.
Called tentatively Queen Pixie. I don't know. We might change the name. You never know. We might not.
Yeah, so it's totally different.
Yeah, and now for something completely different.
Why not?
But that's what we do.
Wow, okay. So how long, I mean, I know you don't give yourself a timetable or whatever, but when you start working on a new song, do you all write? Do you all?
Yeah. I mean, one of us might bring in an idea that we mostly fleshed out, but then the whole band always works it out. And then sometimes it just happens in the room just completely spontaneously.
Do you bring the lyrics first? Do you bring the lyrics first, or do you sometimes bring the music first if you have?
Again, it can go. Usually it's music first, but I mean we've done stuff with lyrics first. We don't really have a set way of doing anything.
Okay.
Whatever happens.
Whatever happens, happens, and in the end, you get a great release.
That's the idea.
That's it. Is there anything else you want to share with everybody tonight that I haven't touched on with you guys? Because I would love to. This is the one thing about doing this, because it's a quick one, and sometimes I want to keep going. But is there anything else that you want to share with everybody that I haven't touched on?
All hail hot dog.
Yeah, all hail hot dog.
Absolutely.
Everybody, thank you.
Well, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I have certainly enjoyed this, and we'll be looking for that next new release. And let me know.
Good. Glad that you had it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, let me know about the new song so I can spin it for you guys.
For sure.
Awesome. All right, guys, you have a good night, and it was great talking to you all. Tuna, Larz, and Spacey.
Asquinoxo!
Asquinoxo.
Love it. All right, guys. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. And this is why I do this. I just like talking. I'm going to be honest with you. I do like talking to people on air. I like to doing the interviews. I am actually I'm a big introvert. So if you catch me on the street, I'm not a big talker. Give me a microphone, I'm okay. But anyway, that was Dashing Skull Club. I enjoyed that conversation. I know you guys did too. And it does. It goes by quick. I appreciate everybody that has been doing the Wednesday Rally interviews with me. And we've been doing live. And I've had 2 that have been, because of the time difference, have been pre-recorded. I am working... I don't usually do live interviews, to be honest with you. So that is a skill set that I am working on, because I do get tongue-tied, and I do have my questions, so I thank goodness for that. And then I have great guests who like to talk, so they help me out. Larz. Sorry. Larz, Spacey, and Tuna. Oh, my God. So, knowing you did everything, please go find them, stream them, like them, share them. Go, leave a comment over on the Wednesday Rally for them. They would certainly appreciate that. Buy their music, and with any of the indie artists, it's a little thing to like them, share them, comment, stream them, and buy their music. Doesn't take much, and you want to buy a single, whatever. It's usually $1 here or there. Not much, and it goes a long way for them. And I want to thank again Erica and Steve of Seems Like Tuesday. I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation as well. Great conversations tonight. Great music. Cul-de-sac Kings, Mean Old Woman. You got a hit right there. Running right up there with Dashing. Can't even talk. Dashing Skull Club, Knowing You Did Everything. Yeah, great songs tonight. That's the other part of this. I get to play all this great music. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. It has been another great week, and you can catch me Sunday night on Out of the Attic Live from Delaware at 7 p.m. That will be the Woman Entrepreneurs podcast series with Miss Coexist, Angela Colon, who is a spiritual healer here in Delaware at Sage and Stone in Milford. So I am working on that, getting that ready for Sunday. And for the small businesses of Delaware, my guest will be Michelle Malone. She is a photographer also right here in Delaware. So lots going on for Sunday. Did you catch me last week on Sunday? Because it was nothing worked. My mic worked, but I couldn't make any phone calls because my settings got screwed up. Due to yours truly. I got a new mic and I don't know what I did, but anyway, I finally got it all working. So this month, the third Sunday, will be Sintel with Sintel Gospel Music. We had a great conversation this past month on spiritual battles. Yes? No? I'm telling you. It's getting old is for the birds. I appreciate all you guys that hang out with this old lady. But it's always a great conversation with Sintel each month. And then Unexplained Discoveries, which I was not able to do this past Sunday because of my phone issue. But they will be back next month. I also will be having, so I have the Delaware Small Business of Delaware segment, and I have another new segment coming up. That's going to be fun too. That's going to be more on the Out of the Attic Live from Delaware, because that does have to do with the Delaware area. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. That's it. I'm done. Go find everybody tonight. Dashing Skull, Seems Like Tuesday, and Cul-de-sac Kings. You can't, where else are you going to get great music? Indie artists, that's where you're going to get them. All right, people, have a good one, and stay out of trouble. And if you're going to get in trouble, have fun.
Hi, this is Orbital Smash, and you're listening to Halfway Through the Week on R2RB.com.